Yo, 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 yo. Yes, those are so many yo-yos, man. Yes, because of the excitement of today's watch along. Yes, welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back for another edition of a watch along video. We've got a number of interesting games lined up for this afternoon slash late afternoon. In this case, we have Crystal Palace versus Manchester City. West Ham versus Aston Villa, Forest versus Spurs. That is actually a North London derby. And yes, the big one. Yes, it's a big derby. Yes, it's called the Tyne-Wear derby between Sunderland and Newcastle. In fact, they are in the media, they are calling it the fiercest derby ever in football. Forget the Classico, forget the North London derbies, forget the Manchester derbies. If you're in Kenya, forget the Mashemeji Derby. But I think the Mashemeji Derby could be close to that. But as always, this has always been a very, very fiercely contested game because of these two teams. Not because of what they represent, but because of how passionate their fans are. It's not competitive from a footballing perspective, but it is competitive as far as the fans are concerned, because the fans want to see passion, dedication from their player. That is what makes this derby very, very fiercely contested. In fact, the last edition of this derby was way back in 2017. At that time, Newcastle did manage to draw 1-1 at St. James Park with Sunderland. But, and of course, that same season, Sunderland were relegated to the championship, and that is why this derby has not been contested in previous seasons. But at least this season, at least it is back, and we are actually happy that it is back. In fact, these two teams, just so you know that the way it is highly contested, these guys have actually played together 157 times, and Newcastle have won 54 games, Sunderland have won 53 games, and both teams have drawn 50 games between them. Actually, have drawn 50 games in this fixture. So that means that they're completely neck to neck like this. They're following each other, and of course, Sunderland hope to equal the record and maybe also pick up their 54th win against Newcastle. Because of course they are buoyed by the fact that they are playing at home. This is actually the first time that they are playing this derby at home since the 2016, 2017 season. So let's hope that it's gonna be an exciting derby. Of course, that's not the only game to show for this particular watch along. Also have, like I said before, Crystal Palace and Manchester City. It's actually a top six clash, because Crystal Palace are currently in 6th position, while Man City are 2nd. Man City 5 points behind Arsenal, because Arsenal yesterday won their game between won their game against Wolves by virtue of 2 own goals, man. Wolves actually managed to score 2 own goals. So a very, very pathetic, poor performance from Arsenal, but they got the result. But for a team that is chasing a title, I think that is was grim reading for them, because yes, they may have gotten the result, but a team that was kind of decimated by Manchester United last Monday, and they only managed to score 2 own goals. In fact, Wolves actually scored 3 times and ended up losing, because as soon as Arsenal scored, Wolves started going on the attack, and eventually they capitalized on their ascendancy, eventually equalized in the 91st minute. But Arsenal applied the pressure later on, but it wasn't really relentless pressure. But eventually they managed to break down the Wolves rear guard, or rather Wolves managed to break themselves down, because they are the ones who actually scored against themselves. So that's the reason why City are now 5 points behind. But it was a very, very poor performance from Arsenal. And if they are to win this league, that is a game that they should be clearly dispatching their opponents, because who knows, maybe this might be the start of something, because you see, whenever you play against some of these teams, do know that other teams in the league are also observing how you're playing against them. And because you sit in first, it means that everybody sees you as the team to beat. So if you don't pick up your performances in the coming games, Arsenal might just find themselves maybe on the back end of December into January that their lead will have disappeared and maybe Man City will be top. But anyway, for me, I still think that Arsenal is still gonna get the act together. And still, my reservation is I don't think City have currently. I don't think they have the consistency to challenge Arsenal. But Arsenal, unfortunately for them, they are not doing themselves any favor currently because they are also not really performing that well. Because I honestly expected them to be put a bit daylight between themselves and the chasing pack. But anyway, we will definitely discuss that as the game goes. So let me just show you guys the scoreboard so at least you guys can know the games that you are following. I have 4 games that are lined up, and let me see whether I can show you guys the lineups of all the teams that are playing today, starting with the Crystal Palace Man City game. So for the Palace Man City game, that's the lineup out there. So as you can see, for Crystal Palace, Henderson in goal, Magay, Captain Lacroix, Richards, Micho, Kamada, Wharton, Klein, Matesa, Pino, and Mateta. So Ismail Assar is actually not Papesa. Ismail Assar is back from injury, at least to take his rightful place in that forward 10 position. For Man City, have Donnarumma in goal, Nunes, Diaz, Vardiol, O'Reilly, Nico Gonzalez, Bernardo Silva, Reinders, Foden, Chucky, and of course, Erling Haaland. So, City making a couple of changes to the team that beat Madrid on Tuesday. At least they managed to bring in, actually, it was on Wednesday. I think they brought back the likes of Bernardo Silva because on that day, Doku was playing. And actually, this is the first. Actually, funny enough, this is the first time in a while I've seen City actually maintain a consistent starting lineup, which is actually good because as a manager, you do need to know your best starting lineup, which is what City have done. And you can clearly see the team that you have out there is actually their best team this season. But of course, people like Rodri are going to come back into the team, just needs to build back his fitness. As for the Forest Tottenham game, the lineups for Forest have got Victor in goal. Sales is unavailable today. Nico Williams, Morillo, Milenkovic, and Savona. Anderson, Sangare, Hutchinson, Gibbs White, Hudson Odoi, and Igor Jesus. For Tottenham, we have Vicario, Pedro Porro, Romero, Van der Ven, and Spence. Bentancur, Archie Gray, Kudus, Simmons, Kolo Muani, and Richarlison. That's actually a good starting lineup from Spurs. Quite attacking. I hope that the manager is finally learning his lesson and changing things up at the back. And then, of course, the big one, yes, this is tie-weird derby between Sunderland and Newcastle. For Sunderland, have Roofs in goal, have Ronaldo, Aldarate, Ballard, and Mukiele. Then Sadiki and Shaka, Enzo Lefe, Talbi, Traore, and Brobry. So from this team, somebody, Ronaldo, Mukiele, Sadiki, and who else? I think Traore and Talbi are going to be leaving for the African Cup, which is starting next Sunday in Morocco. So Sunderland are going to be without their guaranteed starters for some time, but I'm sure they'll have enough squad depth. For Newcastle, have Ramsdale in goal, Livramento, Tiao, Barnes, and Hall, Lewis Miley, Tonali, Gimares, Elanga, Voltemade, and Anthony Gordon. And then, of course, last but not least, West Ham versus third of the table, Aston Villa. West Ham have Andel Ariola in goal, Mama Diouf, Todibo, Mavropanos, Wan Bissaka, Magasa, Potts, Fernandez, Paqueta, Somerville, and of course, Jared Bowen. For Aston Villa, I have Bizot in goal, Matea Cash. I don't know where Martinez is. Maybe he's injured. Cash, right back, Konsa, Lindelof, Madsen, Kamara, Onana, Rogers, Tillemans, McGinn, and of course, centre forward Oli Watkins. So those are the teams that are starting lineups for the games that are taking place today. And of course, later on, we're going to have the game between Brentford and Leeds. Is kind of weird because I expected maybe the Tiny Derby to be slotted in at that 7:30 kickoff, but I don't know why they have actually placed it at this time. Anyway, I'm sure they have their reasons. They have their reasons because they are the ones who know this schedule better than the rest of us. So, but anyway, yeah, games are about to start, guys. At least teams have walked onto the pitch, so we're just about ready to start this game. And of course, we're gonna keep an eye on all the games taking place. Yeah, as we keep you updated on every kind of challenge, every kind of not issue, but every kind of what is it called? Chance that we might encounter. Of course, for us, yes, of course, the Crystal Palace Man City game is a big one, but the Tyne-Wear Derby, that's a game that I'm gonna be looking at very, very closely because that is a very, I have a feeling that that might be a very, very good game of football out there. And like I said, the head-to-head record is very, very close. Sunderland 53 wins, Newcastle 54 wins, and drawn matches between the two 50. So it's actually neck and neck. In fact, the last meeting of the two was it in 2024 in the FA Cup, where Newcastle met Sunderland at the Stadium of Light. Back then, Sunderland were in the Championship and they met in the FA Cup. On that day, Newcastle ran out 3-0 winners at the Stadium of Light, courtesy of goals, I think, from Gordon and Isak. I don't know who got the other one, but I'm sure Isak scored on that day. So, anyway, like I said, yeah, this Sunderland Newcastle game clearly a game to follow, a game to watch, man. For the neutral and also for those people that claim to be serious fanatics and football fans, these are games that clearly have to watch because if there's either two teams that are passionate about football, these two teams. In fact, these two teams are only separated by 12 miles in the northeast of England. In fact, just go and check their history. Just go and check the history of how this fixture came about, and you'll understand why these teams have got a massive rivalry. Yes, Newcastle are about to kick us off. Yes, Newcastle have kicked us off. Let me start the match clocks for all the games that have already kicked off. So yeah, like I said, the last time that they met each other was way back in 2017. So let's hope that it's gonna be an exciting game. In fact, for me, I'm just gonna keep alternating between this one and the Man City game because I know this one is going to be epic. So all games have officially kicked off. So can officially start all the match clocks because all games have officially kicked off. Yeah, and as always, guys, do make sure that you like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. If you're first time on the channel, make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe to my channel for more of such watch alongs. Yeah, if you are a returning subscriber, make sure you support the channel by liking the video. I can clearly see the atmosphere in the stadium. Of course, it's helped by the fact that Sunderland are also coming into this fixture on the back of very impressive performances this season. They're actually in the top half of the table, a position that they have not occupied in a while. In fact, no, many people did not give them a chance this season. In fact, they're actually ranked at, was it 18th to go down, especially when the season ends. But funny enough, they find themselves in the top half, and at some point they're also in the top four. So let us hope that they are going to keep up the charge. Yeah. So this is Mukiele for Sunderland, Enzo Lefe. Yeah. And Newcastle just happy to sit back now because, like I said, these are massive derby for both sides. Both teams will be hoping that at least they get one over their intense rivals because clearly those two are serious rivals, man. Yeah, switch over to the Man City game. Man City, they all change strips. Oh my god, what kind of kit is this for Man City? Surely. Grey and lime green. My goodness. What kind of jersey is this, man? What kind of jersey is this, man? Anyway, it's fine. It is fine. It is fine. It is what they have chosen to put out there. But it's a very interesting color. I've never thought that I'd see Man City in such colors, Yeah, Man City, of course, dominating possession early on. They're happy to keep the ball, as Crystal Palace just happy to soak up and invite pressure onto them because, of course, the onus is on City to win the game. Yeah, Forest, Tottenham game, also a derby out there. Yeah, at least just ensuring that I synchronize on the clocks. Yeah, Tottenham today are playing in their changed kits of all yellow, while Nottingham Forest are in their usual kits of red and white, red t-shirts and white shorts. The Savona into the box. Sangare hits the post. Ah, yeah, 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 yeah. Nico Williams, what a save from Vicario. Was he fouled? Ah, yeah, yeah. Oh, what a chance from Forest, man. What a chance from Forest. It's a big chance, man. Ah, yeah, 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 yeah. Wonderful save from Vicario, man. Wonderful save from Vicario. See whether I can get. Yeah, Nico Williams was clearly coming back from an offside position. So, oh wow. Switch over to the West Ham Aston Villa game. Oh wow. West Ham have already scored. My goodness, man. That was quick. That was quick. Matias Fernandez with a goal for West Ham. Not a mistake by Bizor or what? I think that was a mistake from Aston Villa. Let me see if I can get a replay of that goal. What did they do? Oh my goodness. It was a mistake from Konsa. So West Ham have already taken the lead, man. West Ham have taken the lead against Aston Villa. West Ham have taken the lead, man. Mistake from Konsa, man. I don't know why he was dilly-dallying with the ball out there, man. Then he was robbed. He was robbed by Matias Fernandez, and Matias Fernandez smashed that ball to the top right-hand corner, man, away from the keeper. Keeper completely had no chance. So West Ham have already taken the lead, man. West Ham have taken the lead in that game. So, Aston Villa. But in fact, there's something that I picked up. Was it in the couple of days ago? When you look at the expected goals table, Aston Villa are supposed to be on 17 points because based on the chances that they have created this season, they have actually clearly been overperforming the XG. In fact, most of their goals this season have been scored outside the box, and you see that is a start that cannot go on for long because you don't expect to do that for the remainder of the season because that is very very lucky because you can't be scoring wildies every now and then. So, and that's why I said I don't honestly think Aston Villa have got what it takes to mount up a serious title charge because of that aspect. Unless they start scoring goals from inside the box. And of course, that situation is of course compounded further by West Ham's goal. So I don't know how they're gonna get back into this game because West Ham have also been on a wonderful vein of form lately. I think they've been unbeaten. They've been avoiding defeat. They have been keeping the ball well ever since they drew with they lost to Liverpool. They've actually been unbeaten because they have drawn to Brighton. They also drew to Manchester United, games in which people expected them to lose, but at least they're able to get some points. So this is Morgan Rogers to Madsen. Madsen back to Rogers. Rogers versus Wan Bissaka. Yeah. Waiting for Madsen to go on the overlap. Madsen with a decoy run. Back to Onana. Come on, cross it in the box. Bad pass. Search for a goal kick. Let's go back to the Tyne Derby. Yeah, basically, Newcastle are just happy to keep sit back for now and just hope that they soak up a bit of pressure, because clearly it's like uh, do their level best to ensure that they do not in any way lose this game, because this will actually be a very very poor performance from them if they are to allow Sunderland to get the better of them in this game. Is Reynaldo away from Livramento? This is Enzo Lefe to the box. There's no one there, man. Overcooked the cross. Hey, Sunderland, man. Steam seems they are here to stay, man. I don't honestly expect them to drop up of that drastically this season, but maybe they're gonna finish maybe in the top half. Results do go their way, but I don't think that they are going to capitulate and maybe fall down, fall back in the other, drop down the table. It's Mateta into Sa. Cleared by Nico. Glenn with a shot. It's wide. Extra Palace produced a bit of a attack there because Route 1 football, Mateta was able to nudge Ruben Diaz off the ball. It was more or less a ping ball in the box. So it was ping ball in the box. We'll go back to the West Ham Aston Villa game. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, wow. Swan 1. Holy Watkins, man. Aston Villa have equalized. Okay. They actually score a goal inside the box or what? Look at the replay. McGinn into Konsa. How did they score that goal, man? Konsa. This is McGinn. McGinn to the box. Oh, goal from Watkins. So it's 1-1. 1-1 in that game, man. Aston Villa and West Ham, it's 1-1. Goal has been scored by Oli Watkins. So Watkins with the equalizer for Aston Villa. Yeah, in fact, West Ham's goal did not lead did not last for long. So Aston Villa have already equalized in that game. They have already equalized. So it's 1-1. Anyway, maybe Aston Villa are gonna maintain that charge. I think that should be this their fifth or sixth goal. Because like I said, yeah, if there's a team that has been overperforming its XG, it's expected points, or not XG, expected points. It's Aston Villa. Because in far as the expected points table is concerned, they should have 17 points, but they have 30. So that just shows you that eventually, when it comes to expected points and performances, I do expect as the season goes by that the expected points, their performance are gonna eventually be at par. So teams are gonna finish exactly where they expected to, because you see when you start overperforming your expected points, it means that your efficiency in front of goal is so high, and of course you cannot maintain such efficiency. In fact, if you had to ask somebody like Chris Wood was very prolific last season for Nottingham Forest, but you can clearly see that this season is clearly fallen off, because last season he was overperforming his expected goals. He's actually converting more chances than he was In fact, he was converting a lot of chances. He'd actually score with one shot on goal in 90 minutes, and just like that, they would get the result. Because only used to get one chance and then he'd score. So eventually, you do know that that is a start that eventually catches up to you. So you don't really expect to maintain that kind of start for the entire season. Sunderland game, Newcastle, much happening because yeah, Newcastle just happy to sit back now. Oh, cleared by Tiao. It's out for a corner. Let me go back to the Man City game. Let's see what's going on here. Vardiol, O'Reilly. O'Reilly into Vardiol. Yeah, so like I kept on saying, I don't honestly think that City will have what it takes to. I don't think. Okay, for me, it's just me. I don't think they're consistent enough to challenge at the top because clearly it's not like their defense is so solid, and at the same time, yes, the attack might be good, but with City, unfortunately, this season, rather until now, don't really know what to expect of them. They might as well win a game, they might lose, they might draw. In fact, they've only drawn one game and they have already lost four, and the rest have been victories. So for City, you can't really know how they're gonna turn out in a game. So that's what I'm saying. Their performances only the past at least 5 games, it's been quite consistent, but I don't expect them to keep that up. Maybe eventually, as the season goes by, as you have known with City, they do come strong in the second half of the season. So let's hope that that is gonna be the case. But at least you can now get to a point where we can confidently say that we're able to predict a City team because in the past it's always been it's called a pep roulette, where Pep would just remove players, bring others into the fold. Guy would score a hat trick on this day, and then the next game you see him benched. But maybe he's learning his lesson and maybe sticking to players who are consistent. Because somebody like O'Reilly has had a breakout season in the league, in the Premier League this season. Nobody expected him to be the starting left back at City because City actually bought what's the name of this guy, Ryan Nori from Wolves, and we expected Ryan Nori was just gonna walk into that team, but unfortunately, ever since Ryan Nori was injured, he's been unable to get back into the team. Because for the past 5 games, at least he's been available. But unfortunately, O'Reilly has been playing well, and in fact, he also put in a very wonderful performance on Wednesday against Real Madrid. In fact, he scored in the Champions League against Madrid. So can clearly see that he has made that position his. So which is good. Which is good for because as a manager, I do say that you know what you should honestly know what your best team is. And in fact, that best team should actually be obvious to many people because, as you can clearly see this season, City's best team is with Foden. At least they have like a core of 7 players whom you know are guaranteed to start, and whom you know if it's a big game, those 5 to 7 players are guaranteed starters. But for other teams, unfortunately, like Chelsea, Liverpool as well, and also Arsenal, you can't really pick out their best team. You can pick out their best team on paper, but not based on performances. That is the other thing that has also wasted Maresca this season because Maresca is another manager who who has clearly not identified his strongest team. In fact, if you are to ask him right now, what is the Rhys James' best position, he'll tell you a central midfield, but who knows? Maybe James prefers playing on uh, the right back position. So that's why I'm saying it's quite up and down for other teams, and you can't really pick out their best teams. Right, at least for City, they've been able to overcome that lately. At least they have been able to overcome that. Oh, Jeremy Pino hit the bar, man. He hit the bar. Hit the bar with that shot. Offside, Mateta. Yeah, Pep is already looking like a worried man. He is already having that dead stare where he's like, my God, what's happening here, man? My team, you need to perform, man. You honestly need to perform. And the last time that these two teams met was in the FA Cup final, in which Crystal Palace won, courtesy of an Eberiche Eze goal. It was a wonderful performance from Crystal Palace on that day. They clearly played the smash, not smash and grab, but the counter-attacking style on that day, because they clearly capitalized on City's uh, just keeping the ball and not in any way causing them any problems. In fact, Crystal Palace on that day would have actually scored more. Huh? Yeah. As you can clearly see today, they have already also hit the bar. So, yeah, City might have all the possession, but unfortunately, does not translate into goal. In fact, they haven't even registered a single shot on goal. So, that's what I'm saying. This might actually be a difficult game. It's actually going to be a difficult game for City. So, I don't honestly expect, if you had to look at this game, maybe if City were to score first, but I don't think that is going to be a routine victory for them. It might actually be a very, very tough game for them. But anyway, we will see. We will see. We will be here for the 90 minutes just to see how all teams perform. Huh? Yeah, because Glasner is a perfect manager who loves that, not smash and grab, but who knows how to capitalize on chances being presented to his side. Because if it wasn't for somebody like Mateta's poor finishing or Ismail Essar's poor finishing as well, I think Crystal Palace would be very, very high up in the table. Because both Mateta and Sa have missed glorious chances this season. They are not known to be the best finishers in the game. Yeah, City just happy to keep the ball as Crystal Palace just defend inside their own half. But anyway, funny enough, the best chances have fallen to Crystal Palace. As I've always said, for me, I don't honestly think City can win the league playing like this. But as you've known this season, the league is very volatile. It's clearly anybody's season. Anybody can clearly win this Premier League season. And it's on a record to be one of the poorest in terms of points tally and such. By Bernardo Silva into Reinders. I think, not a mistake, but I think maybe Pep should have started with the Doku, because Doku is one that can run the channels. Because Gonzalez is now with Chucky, because Chucky is the one who's playing off the right. Bernardo Silva is playing on the left. Oh, a wonderful spot from Chucky, but Reinders could not convert the chance. Hey, Chucky with another impressive pass. Was last week against Sunderland, he actually had a Rabona assist, man. A Rabona assist. In fact, that was a wonderful assist for the Foden goal, man. Wonderful assist. Okay, this is Rogers. Rogers coming forward for Aston Villa. Rogers into the box. Cleared by Diouf. Gonna be a corner to Aston Villa. Go over to the Newcastle Sunderland game. Come on, man. Yeah, the challenges are beginning to fly in now. This Sunderland Newcastle game, the challenges are now beginning to fly in. Let's hope that the game is not gonna be messed up by a dodgy decision, either a penalty, not a penalty, but a red card, because sometimes some of these games would be ruined by such moments. Eh? Ah, I told you, Crystal Palace carry a threat going forward. Eh? Clearly from that, and clearly see Ismail Essa had a chance, but as always, poor finishing, man. Sorry. Is Ruben Diaz to Mateus Nunes. Mateus Nunes back to Donnarumma. Yeah, Crystal Palace clearly carry the threat. Going forward, they clearly carry the threat. Because I don't know why City are playing that kind of game where they think that moving the ball slowly is just automatically gonna unlock this Crystal Palace defense. But they need to clearly pick up the tempo. Is Bernardo Silva now picked up by Mateta. Mateta coming forward. Ismail Essa. Ismail Essa. Pino. My God. Ah, yeah, yeah. These guys are missing chances now. They're clearly now missing chances, and I just think it only takes Man City just one chance to win this game. In fact, one of the most notable victories for Man City on this ground was it right back in 2021 or 2022? City actually won this game. On that day, they only had two defenders. They only played the game with two central defenders. And the other players, actually, no. Yes, they actually had two central defenders. The other players were either midfielders or strikers. And somehow Crystal Palace were unable to capitalize and get the victory. Is Ryan Chaki into Mateus Nunes to the box. On the far end, O'Reilly crossed into the box. Cleared by Gay. Picked up by Mateus Nunes. Nico Gonzalez into Chaki. Clearly, nobody's coming to the ball as far as City are concerned. Mateus Nunes, picked up by Foden. Foden. This is a Vardiol. Vardiol coming forward. O'Reilly back to Vardiol. This is Ruben Diaz. Ruben Diaz into O'Reilly. O'Reilly, Vardiol into Ruben Diaz. Being forced back. It's now with O'Reilly. O'Reilly coming forward into Chucky. Chucky is clearly the danger man for City today. This is Ruben Diaz into Nunes. There's no wait for City today because Bernardo Silva. Anyway, it's Nunes now with Foden. Foden switches flanks looking for Vardiol. It's now with Vardiol. City are just keeping the ball there, but they're not really breaking down this Crystal Palace team. Yep, foul on that Vardiol by Richard. So it's going to be a free kick to Manchester City. Foul on Nico Gonzalez. He's actually made that position his by keeping Rodri out of the team. But I think Rodri, his biggest issue has been he's been unavailable and he's still nursing an injury. He is still nursing an injury. Yep. Yeah, West Ham have scored a second goal. So West Ham are leading Aston Villa by 2-1. Goal has been scored by Jared Bowen. So, yep, the goal was being reviewed for offside, but the goal does indeed stand. So, Aston Villa are gone behind again. So, West Ham are 2-1 up against Aston Villa. Goal has been scored by Jared Bowen. Anyway, let's observe this free kick first from City. Yeah, Chucky or Foden who's taking it. Foden! Saved by Henderson. Wonderful save from Henderson, eh? How is this guy caught offside, man? How was this guy caught offside, man? Come on, Reinders. In your Forest Tottenham, is there a goal in this game? Ay, 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 yeah. Mistake from Spurs again, man. Hey, Vicario, man, clearly. Archie Gray, when he lost the ball, he did not even have any kind of ambition to run back and get the ball, man. And then Hudson Odoi just slotted the ball into an unguarded net. So Forest have taken the lead. Nottingham Forest have taken the lead against Tottenham. So it's 1-0 to Forest in that London derby. Archie Gray, come on, man. Concentrate, man. Concentrate. I remember Spurs actually scored one goal. From scored a goal similar fashion, but on this case, they are sort of against City because I remember that day, Trafford was attempting to play out from the back, but he just passed the ball into the path of was it Paulinha or Pap Matesa, and then they just slotted the ball into the net. Chucky, is Foden. Ah, and you guys make sure you're liking the video and subscribing to the channel if you're not already subscribed. It's your first time here on the channel, Vince Kivala channel, make sure you are liking the video and subscribing to the channel. O'Reilly, this is Gonzalez. Yeah, so guys, do make sure that you are liking the video and subscribing to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Always, if it's your first time on the channel, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you're a returning subscriber, make sure you support the channel by liking the video. Is that a foul on Chucky? I don't think so. Didn't look like a foul. Yeah, Pino caught him on the heels. Jeremy Pino. Yeah, no foul. Not a foul. Just a throw in, eh? It's Mitchell to Pino. Nice pass into Wharton. Because you can clearly see Cristopoulos are the ones that are actually moving the ball a whole lot faster. Faster than City. Ismail Sarr! Ah! Again, he misses. Oh, but he's on an offside position, eh? He was in an offside position, man. Was he offside? Wonderful run from Sarr. Off the shoulder of Vardio. Vardio did not really know where Sarr was. You see what I mean? Crystal Palace clearly are the ones that are moving the ball a whole lot faster. But City, so pedestrian, so slow. How do you expect them to score, man? I will not be surprised if Crystal Palace do win this game. I will not be surprised. That's why I've kept on saying. Honestly, I do not fancy City in the league this season. I don't think they've got it. I don't think they have it because the way they are playing today, somebody might think like they're already like 4 or 5 goals up. Richards forward, intercepted by Chucky into this now Reinders. They're clearly missing the attacking threat from Doku. By Sa into Mitchell. Mitchell coming forward for Palace. They're forced back. Yeah, City today, I think they're gonna lose. I don't think they're gonna win this game. I don't think City are gonna win this game. I'll just call it now. The way they are playing, man. It's only a matter of time before Crystal Palace do score. And I do fancy Palace to score. I do fancy them to score, man, because the way City are playing today, Palace have been by far the more threatening team by virtue of chances. City are just keeping the ball, but they are not really doing anything with it. They are not threatening, just moving it about so slowly. I don't know what's up. I don't know why their tempo is so low. Because one of the most effective ways of unlocking stubborn defenses is to actually play with a fast tempo, which City are not doing today. So I have a feeling that cushion that Arsenal have gotten at the top of the league is gonna remain. That's why I said I honestly don't fancy City this season. I don't fancy them at all because of this level of inconsistency. Because if it was a different opposition, maybe other than Palace, maybe City will be down like 3 or 4 goals by now. I don't know what's keeping them in the game so far. It's just that, like I said, sit up front, Sa and Mateta are not gifted with the quality finishing. That is the only thing that is saving City right now. For the number of chances runs in behind that Palace have had in this game, it's enormous and it's alarming from a City perspective. Anyway, it's a free kick to Palace to be taken by Pino, Richards, up and over. With Kamada back into the box, cleared by Vardiol. Wharton with a shot over the bar. Anyway, guys, make sure you are liking the video and subscribing to the channel if you're not already subscribed. If it's your first time on the Vinsky Vala YouTube channel, thank you so much for being part of this watch along. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so. And if it's your first time, do all that wonderful stuff of subscribing to the channel. If you are a returning subscriber, support the content and the channel as well by liking the video. Yeah, smash the like button. Jeremy Pino, yeah, he struck the bar in the first half, man. City were lucky. City were absolutely lucky from that. Donnarumma, pass. By Foden, Haaland, Bernardo Silva into Ryan Chucky. Such a game would actually need somebody like a Doku. Yeah, because Doku clearly can hold the width for Man City. Was he foul? Yep. Pino is penalized. The referee had to think about it. More or less look like a shoulder badge, but yeah, clearly nudges him off the ball. Yeah, that's clear foul. That's a clear foul. Anyway, it's the free kick to City to be taken by Chucky. Wide Chucky into the box. Cleared by Kamada. Cleared by Wharton. But he's been dispossessed. Mateus Nunes gonna be intercepted by Mitchell. It's now with Reinders. Mitchell. Yeah, clearly, Doku needs to come on at halftime. Maybe take off who's gonna be taken off for City. Bernardo Silva, but he's one of their best ball carriers. Maybe take off Reinders, because clearly Reinders today just wasted space out there. Honestly, do not know what he's doing today. City have done unable to get any clear-cut chances. Touches in the box, you can clearly see. Crystal Palace 13 touches inside the box to City's 3. Jeez, that's huge, man. City have only had uh, 3 touches inside the box, man, surely. And that's why I told you, possession does not guarantee you goals, man. Might have even 100%. Okay, it's impossible to have 100%. Even the lower mid 80s possession, but that does not guarantee you victory. Because if there's such a game that have ever existed, there's a time. Nunes! Haaland! Go! Against the run of play, man. City have taken the lead. So unfair on Palace, man. So unfair on Palace. Erling Haaland with a goal, man. Free header inside the box, man. Nobody close to him. I don't know where Richards was. I don't know where Gay was. Free header, man. Wonderful cross from Mateus Nunes. A header from Haaland across the goal. And nobody was close to Richards. What was Richards doing, surely? Clearly, you cannot give Haaland that much space in the box, man. What's the... See, this is the other thing that bewilders me, especially with the teams that play a back three. What's the point of having 3 central defenders out back there? You have Lacroix, you have Richards, and you have Gay, none of whom were even close to Haaland, because Haaland just got a free header. So what's the point of having 3 at the back, 3 central defenders? Might as well just keep 2 and just allow the rest to be fullbacks. Man. That's quite unfair on Crystal Palace, man. All that good work undone, man. Man, you see clearly also, Crystal Palace did not take their chance. That's why I said, poor finishing from the likes of Pino, Sa, and also Mateta. And just like that, they have been punished by City. In these leagues, you're always going to be punished by the big sides. If you... Haaland has only had 9 touches of the ball, and his first touch, or his second touch in the box, is actually a goal. He's only had 9 touches of the football, but he scored with his second touch inside the box. And that's why I said, what? Whenever it comes to some of these leagues, if you don't take your chances, you're always going to be punished. You're always going to be punished. Man. Seriously? And I wouldn't say it's unfair on Palace, because they are the ones who have not converted their chances. In fact, if there's a team that actually misses so many chances, it is Palace, because Mateta and Sa, their finishing is not so good. It's picked up by Kamada into Gay into Pino, Mateta. Please for a penalty, no penalty. See, the keeper got the ball, huh? They're gonna take a look at it anyway. Let's see. Maybe Crystal Palace are gonna be let off the hook, eh? When it goes to VAR, eh? They might actually be given a penalty because it clearly looked like a penalty. But it seems that maybe Donnarumma is the one who got the touch, last touch. But we'll have a look at the replay whenever now there's break in play. Mateta in! Mateta! Let's see what happened in that chance. Nothing. No penalty. No penalty. That was a 50-50 challenge. So it's 50-50. Because Mateta was not... They actually got the ball at the same time. And then Donnarumma palmed the ball into the feet of Mateta. This is Reinders coming forward. Reinders away from Gay. It's Reinders fella, man. I told you, this guy is concussed. If there's a player who's wasting space out there, it's this Reinders fella. That was a wonderful chance from City. Why do you get past your man, but at the same time go back and you want to start diving and look for the foul? And you've already gone past your man. This is Klein. Is Wharton. Wharton into the box. Into Mitchell. Pino! Pino! Can't get away from a player's man. It's now with Haaland. Into Chucky. How many minutes of at the time? Yep, 3 minutes of at the time, man. Hey, ever since City scored, man, it's actually been an interesting game, eh? Yep, 2 minutes of at the time in the Forest Tottenham game. The game was going to Sunderland, not Newcastle. 3 minutes also in that game. Let's see, Aston Villa, West Ham. How many minutes of at the time? Let us check. Game is still not yet gone over the... Oh, actually, my clock is ahead. Huh? Is my clock ahead of that game clock or what? Yeah, my clock seems to be way ahead, man. See, 45. Yeah, so how many minutes in that game? We see how many minutes at the time are they gonna add? And we're gonna just get to it later. Yeah. Yeah, gonna have 2 minutes. 2 minutes in that game, huh? Yeah. Yes, Nunes coming forward to Chucky, to Mateus Nunes. Yes, Nunes. Don't back yourself into a corner. Nice. Bernardo Silva. Just take off Reinders, man. Honestly, take that guy off. Clearly, he's wasting space. Is Chucky. Wonderful play from Chucky. But Bernardo Silva was unable to control the ball, man. Now with Mateta into Wharton. Wharton coming forward. Loses out to Haaland. Haaland with the toe poke. Yeah, Palace look lagging. I don't know why they look so tired. Eh? His Reinders. His Reinders. Told you, this guy is concussed. Super concussed. And is it halftime in any of the games? Let me see if it's halftime. Yep, halftime, eh? Halftime in this game. Halftime in this game. So, and also in the Forest Tottenham game. So, two games are currently at halftime. Yeah, so let's switch over to the West Ham. Okay, Sunderland, Newcastle. Let's see what's going on here. Come on. This game is going to end 0-0. Come on. Just need somebody to at least get a goal. This game needs a goal now. Because Sunderland have been all over Newcastle. Yele, this is a Granit Xhaka. Bertrand Traore. Yep, halftime. Halftime. So, only one more game that has not yet gone into halftime. That's West Ham and Aston Villa. We're right on the verge of halftime. Aston Villa on the attack, but the referee blows for halftime. So, all games are now at halftime. All games are now at halftime. So, it's not been the best action-packed watch along because can't really say there's been a game that has really have us off our seats. Expected the Sunderland Newcastle game to be end to end, but unfortunately, neither team has been able to break the deadlock. I don't know whether it's nerves or what. Because I do hope that the second half is gonna be a way better performance as far as today's games are concerned. See, City game. For the one that is on goal rush. Yeah, Crystal Palace with the chances, man, surely. Should have been out of sight by now, but unfortunately, like I've kept on saying, their forwards really letting them down. Poor finishing. Sometimes, and poor finishing can actually waste you so many points because in games in which you're expected to win, or that you expect maybe just to get one chance and convert off that chance, you fail to do so, becomes now very, very terrible for the team. So, but anyway, let's hope that wherever since they went a goal down, at least you can clearly see that they've actually picked themselves up. Not that they were asleep, but it's just that their performance was quite ambolic because they're just happy to allow West Ham, or not West Ham, Man City to have the ball. But unfortunately, I don't know why City have never learned that possession does not win you games. Because what's the point of having 70 to 80% possession? You can't clearly convert the chances into goals. So that has always been City's Achilles heel all the seasons. In games in which you'd expect them to, whether they've had the lion's share of possession, they've been unable to convert other to prevent the opposition from scoring goals because whenever this City team over the years, it has always been susceptible to a counter attack. And that's why I've always said, I'll keep on saying it. I don't think City are that close or rather that good to challenge for the league this season. In fact, if you had to look at all the teams, Arsenal, City, Liverpool, none of them can clearly say that is moving like title contenders. That's why I said this league, this season rather, is gonna be maybe one of the poorest that you've ever seen. Because in terms of style of play, terms of the champions, because maybe the team that eventually wins the title gonna have maybe the one of the lowest points tally. But I don't think it's gonna be the lowest, because I think the lowest tally was Leicester in 2016, because they finished on 81 points. And last season Liverpool finished, was it 85 or 84? Can't really remember. Yes. But the lowest is actually 80, 81, yeah, for Crystal Palace. Sorry, not Crystal Palace. Leicester. But anyway, let's just hope that especially this Sunderland Newcastle game is gonna spring into life, because so far it's not been an epic watch at all. Not been an epic watch. If I'm to look at the match stats, see whether I can look at the stats so I can look at it together. Yeah, as far as the halftime stats are concerned, you can clearly see when it comes to the match momentum. Yeah, it's pretty much been can't really say the best game of football. And see over here, this is where the real deal lies. See clearly here. Expected goals from Palace 0.98. Sheesh, I told you. They have had very wonderful chances, just that they are not finishing those chances. While City's XG is 0.20. That's very poor. But anyway, the important statistic is this one right here. 1-0 to City. Yeah, they might have 0.2 XG, but at least they've gotten the goal. And as you can see, in terms of chances, Crystal Palace have had 7 shots to City's 2. Big chances, 1 apiece. In fact, I think that big chance was for Pino, the one that he hit onto the top of the bar. And the big chance for City, I think, has been the Haaland chance, because it was actually a free header inside the 6-yard box. There was nobody close to him. Yeah. Yeah, the rest doesn't really matter, because passes is not really a big deal. It's not really a big deal, because like you can clearly see the passes for City in their own half 166, in the opposition half 153. But you can clearly see the XG from Crystal Palace is way higher, because they're the ones been creating the better chances. Yep, let's look at the other games. Forest, Tottenham, it's just a tale of actually another poor performance from Spurs. Can clearly see, as far as the momentum is concerned, Palace have been, no, not Palace, Forest have been all over Tottenham. Because the higher the peak, the higher the intensity of that attack. So if the peak is quite low, that means that it was just a period of just keep ball, but no, it didn't really result in serious attacks. Then you can clearly see expected goals from Forest 1.61. My God. Let me have a look at the highlights of that game, because expected goals 1.61. That's quite high at halftime. Or is it that chance that they've had 3 big chances? Forest have had 3 big chances. Jeez, man. What are Spurs doing out there, man? Honestly, what are they doing? They was giving them props for having picked a very attacking team, but unfortunately, the way they are playing, it's like I don't know what to call it. Let me look at that lineup again. Bentancur and Archie Gray and Simmons. What's going on? Why aren't these guys combining? Richarlison and Simmons not even gotten the ball at all. 6.1 and 6.3 player rating at halftime. It's quite poor. Vicario, of course, the rating is low because he's the one who made the mistake that was now resulted in Archie Gray losing the ball. That's why the reason why Archie Gray's the player rating is 5.3, because for him, he's the one who lost that ball. It was actually a bad pass from the goalkeeper, because maybe see, the keeper is the one who knows what's happening behind the player, and if you do not alert the player that there's somebody behind you coming to win the ball, then how will the player know? Because as human beings, we do not have eyes at the back of our heads, unfortunately. But anyways, you can clearly see Tottenham, this has actually been their season so far, whether home or away. The XG has been quite low, 0.12. In fact, their lowest XG this season was against Chelsea at home, which they only had, was it 0.09 XG? in 90 minutes against Chelsea. Then against Arsenal, they also had an XG, I think 0.15. But they actually managed to score a goal, which was actually against the run of play. So anyway, that is typical Spurs, man. Don't even need to look at the other stats because clearly uh, it's been a dominant performance from Forest. As for Sunderland Newcastle game, see where much momentum. And clearly see, yeah, it's pretty much been even, eh? It's pretty much been an even game, eh? It's been an even game. Can clearly see Newcastle have got no intention of going forward. Eh? The XG is 0.02, one shot with none on target. Man. So they are just happy to sit back. Huh? I don't know why they are scared of Sunderland. This is something I never thought I'd say of Eddie Howe. Because Eddie Howe is not the kind of manager whom you expect to be sitting back and soaking up pressure. Especially to a team that was promoted from the championship last season. As for Sunderland, you can clearly see XG 0.24. This game clearly is not living up to the hype. Because honestly, you expected a end-to-end stuff, but unfortunately, it's turning out to be a lackluster, a cagey game from both teams. Anyway, last game, West Ham, Aston Villa. Aston Villa started out very well. So they considered immediately off the mistake by Konsa of the start. But it's all been Aston Villa so far. I can clearly see Spurs of momentum. But unfortunately, their stats do not reflect that. Eh? And this is what I was telling you guys earlier. Look at this. Look at this. Yep, they've actually scored a goal, Villa, from an XG of 0.04. So you can clearly see the XG is very, very low. They managed to score one goal. In fact, that was the only shot that they had on goal the entire half. As for West Ham, West Ham, the XG of 0.86, 4 total shots, 2 on target, and those 2 chances that have been big chances. In fact, they have scored with both of their big chances. Eh? I'm sure that Bowen chance was a big chance. Gonna look at the highlights later on because I did not have. But I can clearly see. As I said, Aston Villa, clearly they are overperforming the XG. And I do think that eventually the wheels are going to come off and the performances are going to start matching, or the results are going to start matching the expected points and the performances, because you can clearly see, based on this, yeah, they're just happy to keep the ball but they're not creating anything. Especially because it's been a poor West Ham side. In fact, it has to be one of the poorest West Ham sides that you have seen of late. But unfortunately, Aston Villa are unable to convert any of the chances, man. No, not even chances, but exert their dominance in that game. Because you can't really say that they've had chances. They've only had 1 shot on goal. Yes, you're just about ready to resume the second half. Let me just synchronize the clocks so that we are good to go. It'll just be a case of starting the second half. Yeah. So, anyway, as far as the table is concerned, let me see whether I can look at the table. If the current results do hold, Man City will be closing the gap to Arsenal to 34 points. But I don't know whether that's going to be the tail at the end of the game. Because, honestly, I think Crystal Palace are going to come out strong. Hopefully, I hope they are going to at least show off their... Maybe they just need to work on their finishing. But, I don't know. We will see. We will see. So, yeah. So, Arsenal's gap is being close to 2 points. With Aston Villa's loss, that means they remain on 30 points. Chelsea actually have closed oh my god, closed, man. Closed the gap to Aston Villa, because if the result does indeed remain, then Chelsea will have closed the gap to Aston Villa, because that's the team that they're actually chasing for top 4. Because currently, Aston Villa, Chelsea, and Crystal Palace are the teams that are sat in the top 5. Crystal Palace, because they're actually losing this game, it means that they're just going to remain in 5th place. But if they turn this around, Then I think if they actually win this game, they're gonna leapfrog Chelsea and go into fourth place. But we'll see. As for Sunderland, they're gonna remain. If the result does indeed remain, they're gonna remain in eighth position, 24 points. For Newcastle, they're gonna remain 11th, 23 points. Tottenham gonna remain 12th on 22 points. So clearly can see that Forest and West Ham, if they actually win their games, it means that Leeds are gonna drop into the relegation zone. But Leeds will actually be playing later against Brentford. So they'll have the chance of getting out of the relegation zone. So you can clearly see a gap is already building because Wolves are way adrift in 20th spot. In fact, they have not even had a single victory this season. Anyway, Man City game is back underway. And the other game is back underway, yes. Yeah, Man City and also the Forest game has also kicked off. So the Forest game has also kicked off. Forest game, man. Also kicked off. So City clearly they need a second goal in this game. They clearly need a second goal in this game because if he remains this way, all he needs is just a Crystal Palace turnaround, and just like that, they'll have gotten the points. Actually, Forest game was back a while back, so let me see whether I can synchronize the clocks. Almost 3 minutes played in the second half. So the other games back on. Yeah, West Ham game has also resumed for the second half. So it's back underway. West Ham Aston Villa. West Ham Golden Ground. Anna that's got so many bubbles, man. Sunderland game that is the only game that hasn't kicked off, the second half. But anyway, we will wait for it to get underway. Putting the cross into the box. Have there been any changes from either team? Let's see. Palace, have they made any changes? No changes by either team. So I expected maybe intercepted by Wharton. To the air, Wharton, header. Picked up by Wharton again. Back with Richards. Back to his goalkeeper. Yeah, City will need a second goal ASAP. They'll clearly need a second goal. I think they'll need to take off Reinders. Come on, take this guy off. Come on. This is clearly their biggest issue out there. It's Reinders fella. Yep. The Sunderland game is also underway. Let's see how many minutes have already been played in that game. Just ensure that all the match clocks are synced. Oh, it's an own goal, man. Sunderland have taken the lead, man. Sunderland have scored. Voltemade has put the ball into his own net. So, it's an own goal from Newcastle. So, Sunderland have taken the lead in that game. Voltemade, man. I know some of you out there have him in your fantasy teams and he's scored an own goal. So, that is minus 2 points. So, he's going to end up on 0 points. Yeah, if he does not do anything else. Ukiele with a cross into the box. Oh my, what is Voltemade doing, man? What the heck is he doing, honestly? Oh, wonderful header, man. Wonderful header from Voltemade. The reason I'm applauding is because that is actually a striker's finish. It's just unfortunate for him that it was into his own net. But if that was on the other side of the goal, on the attack for Newcastle, it would have been a wonderful goal, man. Wonderful goal. Yeah, yeah. Voltemade. He looped that header wonderfully over Ramsdale's outstretched arm. And if that result does indeed hold, it means that Sunderland are now going to be on equal wins with Newcastle in this fixture. But like I said, the two teams have met each other 57 times. Newcastle have won 54 games. Sunderland have won 53, while they have drawn 50 games in that fixture. So if Sunderland do go on to win that game, it would mean that they are now level on games won. They'll actually have each won 54 games in that fixture. So anyway, maybe it was not the most inspiring of ways in which Sunderland have wanted to take the lead, but it all counts. Own goals, they are still part of the game. Smiley, sir. Sir is in behind. Sir. Come on, man. Surely. Sir checks back. It's been cleared by Vardiol. You see, like I said, poor decision making from Palace, man. Pino with a wonderful ball over the top. Sir checks back into his left foot, but it was cleared by O'Reilly. Yeah, just go on and maybe stand, see where they could have struck the ball with his right foot. I don't know why he was checking back. I don't know why, honestly, he was checking back onto his left foot, and it's not like he's known to score with his weaker foot. Yeah, yeah. It's clearly been a tale of City, other Palace just having very, very poor finishing. In fact, if the likes of Ismail Essa and Klein the ball, let's see this attack first. It's now with Lacroix. Lacroix into the box. Pino, the header, straight at Donnarumma. With Chucky. It is Foden. Yeah, so I was saying if the Palace forwards, Mateta and Ismail Essa had any bit of quality finishing in them, trust me, Palace would be even be a top 4 team. For the number of chances that these two get, especially in games, how can you even wonder, man? You guys, man, why are you always getting yourselves into very wonderful positions, but your finishing clearly lets you down? This is Chucky. This is Foden. Wonderful tackle. Well, that was actually Reinders. It's Reinders, fella. Richards. Oh, wonderful tackle from Richards. Clearly saved a certain goal there because Reinders would have just turned Richards and just stolen the ball into the path of Haaland. Haaland just passes the ball into an unguarded net. It's Klein on the far end. Picked up by Foden. Foden hoofs it clear. It's actually a game that needs somebody like a Doku. But the thing that has actually messed City today is they have not honestly had any kind of width. Wharton, poor pass. Foden gives it away to Mateta. Is Pino looking for Mitchell on the far side. Unable to get to the pass. Oh wow, I've actually missed 2 goals already. So yeah, Forest have scored a second goal. So Forest are leading over there 2-0. This is fully deserved. This is fully deserved, man. Fully deserved, man. Because clearly Spurs forgot how to play football. Maybe relegation will actually help them. Like I've always said, the biggest issue is their manager. This manager still has the Brentford mentality where he thinks that doesn't need to perform. And get a replay of that goal. So Aston Villa have also equalized against West Ham. So it's 2-2 in that game. I don't know who has scored. I don't know who has scored. Oh, Rogers. Morgan Rogers has scored for Aston Villa. So it's West Ham 2, Villa 2. Goal has been scored by Rogers. Morgan Rogers. Then, of course, the Forest game, taking a 2-goal lead. So, going on the attack for West Ham. Bowen cuts back. Bowen into Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka is nobody in the box, man. And it's going to be a corner. Let's go back to the Man City game because that's the one that seems to have a bit of action. I don't know why Glasner and Pepper. I don't know why both the box. Chucky! Read into the Nico Gonzalez, the header straight at Henderson. I don't know why Glasner and Pep are having an intense discussion. I don't know what it's about. We both managers are trying to make the point that without not have been a foul for City. Because both managers love winning. Glasner, there's actually one thing that has wasted Glasner is the Crystal Palace board has not been backing him in the transfer market because Crystal Palace have been known as a selling club. They say, in fact, in the league currently, they have the smallest squads. In fact, they've only fitted, I think, like around 20 players in the league. So this is Chucky, Reinders, straight at Henderson, Victor by O'Reilly. Is why with Chucky, Nico Gonzalez. The first time the City have been able to combine and go forward. I don't know why Reinders did not actually cross it into the middle for Haaland, because Haaland was by himself in the middle. The guy clearly handled the ball, man. Referee. That was a handball, There's Nunes. Nice back heel into Ruben Diaz. Anyway, guys, make sure you are liking the video and subscribing to the channel if you're not already subscribed. It's your first time on the channel, do make sure that you are liking the video and subscribing to the channel. And of course, do that wonderful stuff. It's your first, if you are a returning subscriber, make sure you support the content by liking the video. Is Kamada across, cleared by Mateus Nunes. It's now with Chucky. Chucky gets away from Kamada. Chucky looking for Foden. Foden's touch was poor. It's cleared by Mitchell. Sorry, not Mitchell. Klein. Now with O'Reilly. Now with the Reinders. Reinders into Foden. This is a Guardiola. Bad pass. He might actually cost his team a goal here. Henry Pino, Wharton. Yep, I told you. Poor finishing is what is costing this Palace team. Poor finishing, man. What a poor pass. Jesus, man. What a poor pass. from Guardiola, man. I don't know what he was doing. Eh? What was Diaz? Now with Pino. Mateta, shot blocked. It's Mateta again. Yeah, got the advantage. Yep. The referee's not going to pull it back. Eh? Wonderful pass. Ah, come on, man. He's Richards. This is Ismail Essa coming forward. Bad pass again, man. How many times are we gonna say that of this Crystal Palace team? Eh, if there's one team that is lacking in quality, is clearly Crystal Palace. Chucky back with Guardiola. This is Nico Gonzalez. Chucky. Don't know when Doku's gonna come on, because clearly they need Doku in this game. City need that second goal cushion, because if they don't get that cushion, I assure you, all that Palace need is just one chance, and that will be it. What a touch from Chucky. That's a foul on Chucky by Kamada. It's going to be a yellow card. Yellow card of the game, man. You know what Kamada was doing there. Clearly, Chucky was on his way. Hey, Kamada, come on. Clearly, no intention of playing the ball, man. Yeah, Mateta has been taken off. Yeah, Nketi, I think, is the one who has come on. So, Mateta has gone off. Nketi has been brought on. It's Nico Gonzalez. It's Ruben Diaz. Mateus Nunes against Gay. Don't foul him. Don't foul him. Don't foul him. Nice play from Mateus Nunes. Don't foul him. Thank you. Yeah, don't foul again. It's picked up by Haaland. Intercepted by Gay. It's gonna be a throw into City. That Sunderland Newcastle game. Come on, man. Honestly. Yeah, Mateus Nunes with the throw in for Man City. Wharton. Is Haaland. Come on, that was not a foul. They just are coming together. Referee. Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, it was just a coming together. That was no foul, man. Both players were going for that ball. In fact, they actually got the head to the ball. So it's not a foul for a foul on Nico Gonzalez. Seems like Kamada has picked up more or less looks like a hamstring injury, so it's gonna come off. It's gonna come off. In the meantime, let us watch this Newcastle game. The box by Barnes, straight into the arms of roofs. It's clearly been a low key affair because in the second half, for 15 minutes played, we've only had one shot on target from either team. So let's look at the Forest Tottenham game. It's pretty much a Forest's victory, but I don't think Tottenham are gonna come back from this. Like Tottenham are priding themselves of having one of the best away records in the league. But unfortunately, in this game, done and dusted. It's done and dusted for them. I don't think they're gonna get back into that game. They look beaten now. They look well beaten. Hope Kamada has already been taken off because don't need a lot of stoppage. Anyway, it's being taken off. So Kamada is being taken off. Gonna be replaced by Willie Hughes. Another footballer that I honestly do not rate at all. There's a player that I do not honestly know what he's doing playing the sport is Willie Hughes. Honestly, this guy don't really know what he does on the pitch. Is he a defensive midfielder? Is he a deep lying player maker? Is he a destroyer? Is he a register? Is he an anchor man? What is he? In fact, maybe he doesn't even know it himself. Victor Baessa, back to Lacroix into Gay. Gay is lucky there. Almost lost the ball to Haaland. Back with Richards. Nice play from Gay. He kept the ball well. Moved clearance from referee. There's no contact. Come on, man. These referees, man. Sometimes, are you even watching the game or what? Where was the challenge there? Clearly, where was the challenge? Come on. This referee. So pathetic, man. It's like the level of officiating just keeps going further and further down. They give fouls for dubious decisions, man. It's picked up by Haaland. It's now into Chucky. Foden with a shot. Goal! Phil Foden, 2-0, man. 2-0 to Manchester City, no, Crystal Palace. Against Crystal Palace. Goal has been scored by Phil Foden. They clearly needed that cushion, They clearly needed that cushion, man. Oh, Chucky, another brilliant assist from Chucky. An awesome run from Chucky. Foden with an impressive shot from outside the box. Keeper completely had no chance, Those just going to the back of the net. No chance for the goalkeeper. So, City have doubled their lead, man. City have doubled their lead. Yeah, Anderson could not get back quick enough to save that ball. Yep, that's 6 goals in 4 games for Foden. Huh? It's clearly been the star man for City this month. In fact, if he keeps this up, I think he's gonna be the player of the month. Because he has like 3 more games before the month ends. And he's actually started off the month with scoring a brace against Leeds, then followed it up with a brace uh, against, was it Fulham? Yes, against Fulham. And then he scored last week. He scored the other week against Sunderland. And now that with that goal there, that is now his 6th goal in 4 games. So Foden clearly the player in form right now for City. At least it's actually a good thing because back then City were more of a Haaland FC, but at least they have been able to get other players in on the goals. Yeah, they've been able to get other people to contribute to goals. Yeah, Ryan Chaki. Yeah, clearly he's been the guy for Man City. And also not just be a case of how many City might want to score, because the way they are coming forward with intent, what a touch from Chaki, man. Anyway, it's good to see such performances from a player because sometimes we think that the game is just about putting the ball into the net, but we also want to see the entertainment where players actually now do flicks and tricks and all that kind of stuff. Can clearly see that second goal as knocked off, as kind of knocked. What? How is that expression said? You know that expression is knocked for. Anyway, it's kind of stuffed out the kind of attack, momentum or intensity that Palace had. They're just happy to sit back now. But anyway, it has been a tale of Crystal Palace having poor finishing and poor decision making in the final third to Man City being very clinical, especially out there because City have been very clinical today. But I think they've only had like 3 shots on goal. They have scored with 2 of them. He's Willie Hughes. Willie Hughes is Ismail Essa into the box. Cleared by O'Reilly. Now with Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva into Vardiol. To Haaland. Haaland. Haaland fighting over the ball with Lecoa. Lecoa actually did well to keep Haaland at bay. That's good, man. It's good defending, man. Good defending. Yep. That is what you need to do to Haaland. You need to ensure that you don't give him a sniff. You do not give him a sniff out there, man. Anyway, guys, make sure you are liking the video and subscribing to the channel if you are not already subscribed. So, if it's your first time here on the channel, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you're a first timer on the channel, if you're a returning subscriber, make sure you support channel and show an appreciation of the content by liking the video. So Nketiah, what's he doing, man? This isn't kid. There's one guy that clearly left his shooting boots, his former club. It's in Nketiah. Ever since Nketiah went to Crystal Palace, been one stinker after stinker after stinker after stinker. He's gonna come on for Palace. Looks like. I've forgotten his name. I've honestly forgotten his name. It's picked up by Bernardo Silva. This is Mateus Nunes. Mateus Nunes coming forward into Chucky. Can clearly see that Man City have found Bernardo Silva's replacement. Because Chucky more or less dictates tempo like Bernardo Silva. Can clearly see that is what Chucky loves to do, the same way Bernardo Silva does it. So even if Bernardo Silva was to leave City, can clearly see that they have at least gotten his replacement. Jeremy Pino is Gay. Gay hoofs it forward into Nketiah. Pino. This is Hughes. Richards to Hughes. Wharton. I'm surprised that Wharton has not been taken off because normally it does indeed go off right around the 65th minute, 70th minute. Yeah, they do take him off many times in the past. Yeah. For Jefferson Lama, this is a Chucky. Chucky coming forward. Chucky, was he fouled by Mitchell? Yep, he was fouled. It's gonna be a yellow card for Mitchell. It's clearly a yellow card, eh? Yeah, Nathaniel Klein is also being taken off for Palace. Gonna be gonna be it's gonna be replaced by Uche, man like Uche. Is he Nigerian? He clearly looks Nigerian, eh? Clearly looks Nigerian. And it's a free kick to City to be taken by Chucky. Chucky over the free kick for City. Chucky didn't even get it over the first defender. Yeah, Chucky, the way Chucky plays is giving me vibes of he more or less looks like a crossbreed between Santi Cazorla and Bernardo Silva because more or less looks like he plays like Bernardo Silva and also looks like he has the two-footed ability of Santi Cazorla because Santi Cazorla for Arsenal back in the day could not really know what was his best foot. Whenever you get a penalty, you don't honestly know whether it's going to strike it with his left foot or right foot. Wonderful players, man. Sometimes I do miss them, man. One of the players that were clearly improved by Arsene Wenger back in the day. Santi Cazorla is called Santi Cazorla. Yep. Hasn't been any other goal has been scored in the other games. In fact, the only goal that have been scored in the second half are just as I've mentioned, Forest have scored a third goal. Forest have scored a third goal, guys. Forest have scored a third goal, man. Was actually scored it. Hey, Spurs, man. Spurs are just being Spursy. Ibrahim Sangare. Yeah, Spurs put to the sword completely. Yeah, this clearly a complete performance from Forest. And mark you, they are the ones who are playing on in the Europa League on Thursday. They are the ones who actually look way stronger. Atsonado Sangare. Yep. Wonderful goal from Sangare. So The Forest have scored a third goal, eh? Forest have scored a third goal in that fixture. So it's 3-0 to Nottingham Forest. Their game against Tottenham. Spurs. Yeah, Spurs are just being Spurs, yeah. That is how they play, man. That is how they play. That's why I join agencies with any Spurs fan who wants this Thomas Frank out of the club. Because clearly, what doesn't make sense is Spurs played their Champions League game. Was it on Tuesday? On Tuesday or on Wednesday? Let me check. Tottenham. Was their game on Tuesday or Wednesday? Let me check. Their Champions League game. Yeah, their Champions League game was on. Guys, hear this. Tottenham's Champions League game was on Tuesday, while Nottingham Forest played the Europa League game on Thursday. That's 2 days ago. So, a Spurs team that had 2 extra days of rest over a Forest team that played on Thursday is unable to turn up and just smash this Forest team. And they are the ones who had more days of rest. And unfortunately for Yohan Wissa, wonderful chance, but he could not convert. So I'm saying that Tottenham Hotspur had 2 extra days of rest over a Forest team that played on a Europa League game on Thursday and is now playing today. Tottenham have rested till Tuesday, while Forest have rested till I think it was on Friday. We only rested on Friday because their game was actually away. It was actually against Utrecht. But somehow, Spurs is the team that looks like they, they played a game yesterday because they performed today. But let me look at the XG. They've only had 5 shots on goal. Only 5 shots with one on target. Spurs. Yeah, this guy should just go, man. Honestly, this guy should go. And Chaki headed clearance. Not yet further cleared. Far to Mitchell. Haaland with a sliced clearance. It's gonna fall anywhere. Yep, so throw into Palace to the box. Cleared by O'Reilly. Back with Richards. Richards been tackled by O'Reilly. It's now with Richards. Richards picked up by Reinders. Now with Foden, back with Reinders. It's actually a throw-in, yeah? So, I don't know how a Tottenham Hotspur team that has been pathetic all season and actually had an extra day of rest is able to pull off such a stinker against a Forest team that just played the other day, 2 days ago. And apparently, this Forest team looks like the one that is threatening. Have a look at also the Aston Villa West Ham game. This is McGinn. McGinn back to Cash. Oh, Rogers again. 3-2, man. 3-2 to Aston Villa. Ay. Morgan Rogers again, man. Another comeback from Aston Villa. Morgan Rogers with a goal, man. Man like Morgan Rogers. Hey, what a shot, man. Hey. Hey, what a shot from Rogers, man. Ariola did not even know what hit him, man. He's just diving in vain for the sake of diving, eh? Hey, what a shot, man. So, Aston Villa have completed the turnaround now. They're actually behind twice because West Ham had taken the lead. Aston Villa equalized, and then West Ham scored a second goal. Then Aston Villa equalized again, and now they've actually gotten a third goal. So, goal has been scored by Morgan Rogers. So, Savinho is going to be taken off, or brought on place of Reinders. So, Reinders is being taken off for Savinho. So, I pretty much say that, you know what? I don't think Aston Villa have done enough to secure the victory there. Because I honestly did not see how Uche trying to get to the ball, go to get to it. Anyway, a wonderful game, for Rogers, Wonderful game from Morgan Rogers with a brace. Watkins is the one who scored the other goal. So, Richards into the box. Cleared by Haaland. Is Mitchell. Yay! Cleared by Guardiola. Anywhere would do for Man City at the moment. Yeah, City just happy to sit back now. Just invite pressure onto themselves because maybe they know that this game is already won. They know that this game is already won. Richards the long throw into the box. It's picked up by Mitchell. Will Hughes into the box. Gay! Punched away by Donnarumma. As far as Richards. Will Hughes. Will Hughes into the box. Put away by that Vadio. Savinho! 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 By himself! Savinho! Brought down! The penalty! Penalty! Penalty, man! Yellow card for Henderson, man. Savinho. With a lot of green grass ahead of him, man. Palace. Everybody was up front, man. And then Pino and was that Mitchell could not in any way decide who was going for the ball. Then Savio was just coasting through one-on-one against the keeper. Was trying to go around the keeper but was brought down by Henderson. So it's going to be a penalty for City and a yellow card for Henderson. Yeah, he clearly brought him down. Yeah. Of course, it's not going to be a red card because there was a covering defender. So Haaland, then another chance of doubling his tally in this game. So City with a penalty to be taken by Erling Haaland. In fact, in his last 5 penalties, he's missed 2. So anyway, we'll see whether Haaland is gonna score. We'll see whether Haaland is gonna score against Henderson. Yeah, of those penalties, 5 penalties, he has actually missed two. Huh? He scored three. So let's see whether it's gonna be fourth penalty scored in six. Haaland, goal! 3-0 to Man City. Goal has been scored by Haaland off the penalty spot. Oh man. Well, this result is gonna flatter a lot of people. More or less looks like a convincing result, but it was far from it. It was just down to Palace's poor finishing and a poor decision making up front because cause clearly it was Palace's game to win, but unfortunately they could not in any way convert their chances in the first half and also in the second half. And as a result, they have been punished. They have clearly been punished by they have clearly been punished by Man City. Of course, the games are now going into stoppage time. So in the City game, how many minutes are we gonna have? Gonna know soon enough. Haaland is gonna be taken off for Man City, replaced by Nico Lewis. Then in the Forest game, you're gonna have 4 minutes, 5 minutes of added time. There's gonna be 5 minutes of added time in that game. The other game is into stoppage time. Yeah, actually all other games are into stoppage time. All games are in stoppage time. Sunderland, Newcastle, yep, almost approaching stoppage time. Man City, haven't really decided whether how many minutes of added time because they are currently making the changes. So Haaland, O'Reilly, and Silva being taken off for Marmoush, Rico Lewis, and Ait Nouri. So how many minutes of added time? 5 added minutes. 5 added minutes. The Aston Villa game, I don't know how many minutes of added time we have there. Also have 5 minutes of added time. 5 added minutes. Sunderland, Newcastle, 4 minutes of added time. That game. Of course, in the Forest, Tottenham game, we're gonna have 5 minutes of added time. So anyway, games are pretty much yeah, they have been one. I think any team that is currently leading is gonna hang on to the result. I don't know whether West Ham are gonna come back. Maybe see whether they can get an equalizer in that game. Just switch over to that game. Let us see whether they're gonna get a goal in that game. West Ham, Aston Villa. Let's push this forward. So yellow card for Diouf. And it seems like our game has already been won by Aston Villa. The other game have we not looked at? Sunderland, Newcastle. Clearly, this game has not lived up to the hype. It's been a poor game, man. Honestly, this has been one poor game, man. Been one derby to forget. Honestly, expected a very high intensity, action-packed derby, but even the way Newcastle are playing, somebody might think like they are already winning this game. I don't think there's much gonna happen in that game. Tottenham, clearly convinced. Yep, convincingly beaten by Forest. Yeah, this manager should go. Clearly, this manager does not have the mentality or the mindset to coach a big club because he thinks that his Brentford tactics are gonna work at Tottenham. Clearly, he's been put to the sword by a very disciplined and very energetic Forest team that one would expect would have been tired, especially after they had a late game on Thursday. Yeah, which I've kept on saying, I don't know how the team that played on Thursday looks more fresh than the team that played on Tuesday. Tottenham have had 5 days to prepare for this game, and yeah, that's it. Game over. What a game! What a day for Forest, man. Forest have won their game. 3 3-0, man. 3-0, man. Forest have won their game against Tottenham. 3 goals, man. A brace from Gibbs White, and the other goal was scored by Sangare. Oh, it's Tottenham. Honestly, I don't know why this Sangare fella, not Sangare, this Thomas Frank fella is still at a job at Spurs. Eh? In fact, he should actually be in line of the next managers to get sacked in the Premier League. Because this guy, clearly, after having such a wonderful start to the season, then at the same time also having a very good squad. Because the Tottenham squad is not that bad. You might say they're still missing the likes of Madison and who's this other guy? Not Madison. This other guy. Kulusevski, but that's no excuse. That is no excuse. They still have a wonderful squad to actually challenge for a top 6 or 7 finish. But unfortunately, this manager, I don't know how he sets up this team. They should just let him go. Foden, come on, Foden, shoot! Foden! Over the bar. Come on. Well beyond the 5 minutes, referee. Come on, referee. Blow the whistle, man. Funny enough, ever since Guardiola came to the Premier League, he's never lost a game at Selhurst Park. He's never lost a game against Crystal Palace at their ground. Eh? In fact, the only game that I remember Crystal Palace winning was that 3-2? The one that they won at the Etihad. Was it way back in 2019 or 2020? Yeah, on that day, City had rushed into a 2-goal lead, but Crystal Palace came back and won 3-2. So that game is over. Game is over. Game is over. And also the West Ham game has also drawn to a close. So the only game that is still being played is the Sunderland Newcastle game. I don't know whether Newcastle are gonna equalize, but from the way they are playing, they don't look like a team that's gonna equalize. They clearly do not look like a team that is going to equalize, huh? Yeah, come on, this derby, man. Oh man. They were hyped up this derby. Honestly, I did not expect this. Jacob Murphy. But I think you have to fault Eddie Howe's tactics today because I don't know why he came with a defensive approach to this game. It's like he showed no ambition of going forward. Eh? His Livramento, Jacob Murphy, to the box, into Luis Hall. Luis Hall header into the box. This is Tiao. Ay, 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 ay. This looks dangerous. Where is he gonna fall? What, man? Sometimes this internet lets me down, man. Just when it becomes interesting, that's when chooses to do this. The corner. Is it a corner? Man. Internet. Sometimes this internet lets us down, man. Hmm. Hey, hey. In this game, as soon as the referee, no, not the referee. As soon as Roofs kicks this ball upfield, referee's gonna blow the whistle, for the end of the game, man. Yeah, this will be Very impressive start for Sunderland. Unbeaten this season at home. Roofs with the kick forward. Referee, are you blowing the whistle? Still not blowing the whistle. I don't know what he's waiting for. Bruno G, forward. By Lewis Hall. Wonderful tackle, man. It's Ramsdale. Why are we having so many meals at the time in this game? What happened, man? Referee blow. Thank you. Yep. Referee has blown the whistle. So Sunderland finally secured the victory against Newcastle. Game's over. Sunderland have won that game against Newcastle. Very, very poor performance from Newcastle. Very, very poor performance. I don't know what Eddie Howe was doing. I don't know what he was attempting in this game, but come to look at the stats. Oh my. Eesh. And but you know what? It's been a you know what? I don't blame me. It's been a very, very low quality game. Honestly, maybe the Premier League knew. That's why they did not put this game as on the schedule of games that have what actually on the late kickoff game, because this game clearly did not have a wonderful watch to it, because in that entire game Newcastle have only attempted 6 shots with two on target. Two on target, while Sunderland have only managed 5 shots with one on target. It's been a poor game, a poor game. But anyway, like I said, these two teams, they are not rivals as far as performances and what and trophies are concerned, but they are rivals because these two clubs actually have one of the most passionate clubs or other fans, I'd say, in the entire what United Kingdom. And I'd even say be in Europe, because he's one of, like I said, back in the day, this derby was very, very hotly contested. But unfortunately, today it was not a hotly contested derby. It was just a very poor KG affair from both teams. I think both teams came into this game hoping that they'd avoid a defeat. And Sunderland, as soon as they went ahead, they decided to sit back. So it's been a very poor showing of this derby. Honestly, expected match, because Sunderland have been flying high in the league. Newcastle have also not been bad this season, but unfortunately, it was not going to happen for them. Anyway, the results that you see on the screen are now official results. So the games are all kicked off at the same time at 5 p.m. Kenyan time or East African time. So Crystal Palace managed to actually put up a wonderful XG in the game, because they had chance after chance after chance, especially in the first half. But of course, what let them down is poor finishing and poor decision making in the final third. Eventually, they lost out the game 3-0. In fact, that scoreline does not tell you the story of the game, because Palace were by far the better team as far as chances are concerned. It's just that City created a number of chances and they actually scored with those three. So it was just a tale of Palace not finishing their chances, likes of Mateta, Pino, and Sa. Of course, City doing the business on the other end and finishing off their chances. So yeah, that I'm sure that result flatters City, but maybe if it would have been a different opponent, things would have been different. But anyway, game is over now. On to the next one. As for West Ham and Aston Villa managed to come back from actually managed to come back from behind twice to win that game 3-2. West Ham had taken the lead through Fernandez, only for Watkins to equalize. Then West Ham went ahead again through Bowen, and then Rogers equalized. And then right around the 88th minute, Rogers pulled off a wonderful shot straight into the back of the net, get the goal that was enough to see Aston Villa claim victory on that on that side of London. As for Forest and Tottenham, fact, if there was ever a one-sided game, it's that one because Forest clearly um, battered Tottenham across the pitch. I don't know what Tottenham were doing. In fact, maybe they should have just said, you know what, we accept our walkover in this game. We don't need to play it. Let us just accept the walkover because clearly Spurs refused to turn up in that game, completely turn up in that game. And like I kept on saying in the stream, on stream rather, these guys Tottenham played their Champions League game on Tuesday, while Forest played their game on Thursday. So clearly, if you look at the two teams, Tottenham are way better rested. But unfortunately, more or less looked like Forest were the team that had 1 week of rest, while Tottenham seemed like maybe they had played a game yesterday. So that's why I've always said, you know what? It all goes down back to the manager because that is how this manager, this Thomas Frank manager, sets up this team. And because he has set them up this way, he's always setting them up to just remain cagey and avoid defeat. But unfortunately, it has not worked this season at all. In fact, Tottenham were coming into this game on the back of a wonderful away record, but today they have clearly been put to the sword by a Forest team that was rampant from start to finish. So it's a very, very poor performance. And with that result, now it leaves Forest further and further away from the drop zone. And just as we had seen just later on, Sunderland managed to secure a victory, a very poor derby, you might say, against Newcastle. Managed to win 1-0, which now leaves Sunderland into 7th position, level on points with Liverpool, and also having an identical goal difference. For Newcastle, they stay in 12th position on 22 points and having a very up and down season because it's like Newcastle are unable to just get any bit of momentum. In fact, the Sunderland goal was actually scored by Voltemade. Voltemade was actually scored an own goal in that game. So let me show you guys the table. Good to see the table. As far as the table is concerned, yep, Arsenal top, Man City close the gap to Arsenal to 2 points, and you can clearly see now City's goal difference is now way superior to Arsenal's because now Arsenal have a goal difference of plus 20, while City have a goal difference of plus 22. Aston Villa with that comeback victory, they remain in 3rd position. At least now they're building up a gap of 4th place seat. Chelsea, which will actually be good for them because I'm sure when those two meet, it's going to be an interesting game. In fact, let me check the stats in this game. I don't know whether Aston Villa were able to turn in. Because you can clearly see Aston Villa still scoring with a very, very low XG. The XG was 0.62, but they managed to win the game. So, anyway, the result that counts nowadays, anyway. So, yeah, so Chelsea in 4th on 28 points. Yesterday, they managed to beat Everton 2-0, courtesy of goals from Palmer and Gusto. Crystal Palace just lost to City. Very poor performance from them. Liverpool won yesterday thanks to a brace from Ekitike. Sunderland just won their game against Newcastle. Then the rest have Manchester United in 8th, Everton in 9th, Brighton in 10th position. So, actually look at this. So, Tottenham, yeah, of course, remain in 11th spot, 22 points. But like I said, this still very volatile because as you can see, if Newcastle, Tottenham, and Brighton are to win their next games, and Man U, Everton, and Brighton lose, then these three would replace these three in the top 8. So, you can clearly see it's still very volatile. But I do expect that eventually the gap is going to start to build because we don't expect this to go on for the remainder of the season. And then, of course, Newcastle stay in 12. Fulham won their game yesterday against Burnley 3-2. Bournemouth playing tomorrow against United. As you can clearly see, Bournemouth have dropped further and further down the table because the points difference is very, very small. Because if you are to lose a game, you see clearly you drop. And Bournemouth have been on a poor run. You can clearly see they've been on a run of loss, draw, loss, and draw. They are winless in their last 5 games. So let's hope that they're at least going to be able to start picking up a few points. Brentford, yeah, they're playing at 7:30 against Leeds. That means that now, because West Ham have lost, Leeds will actually now remain out of the drop zone, because if West Ham would have won that game, Leeds will actually drop into relegation zone. So Leeds have a chance of steering clear of the relegation zone because they play Brentford next game. So if Brentford were to lose that game, Leeds are gonna go on to 18 points, level on points with Nottingham Forest. So I pretty much expect these three. I think Wolves, Leeds, West Ham, and Brentford are gonna maybe start fighting it out down there for relegation. Wolves are pretty much gone, and I think Burnley are also gonna be gone as well. But it's all gonna come to whether West Ham, Leeds, or Brentford, or who's gonna go down. Because honestly, I think maybe one of those is gonna go down. I don't honestly expect Forest to go down, because Forest, yeah, they seem to be turning their corner, and because of the manager that they have in Sean Dyche. Yeah, Sean Dyche is the kind of manager who knows how to stabilize a ship. So yeah, so that's why for me I expect West Ham, Burnley, Leeds, and Brentford to struggle with relegation this season. I don't think Bournemouth or Fulham are gonna be dragged into it, because I think these two are well able to steer clear of relegation zone. But I do expect that Nottingham Forest are eventually gonna keep climbing up, while Brentford are gonna continue to drop further and further down. But anyway, we'll see how the games go on. Definitely, the late game that is coming up is between Brentford and Leeds. So you might actually say that that is actually a relegation 6-pointer. Then tomorrow we're gonna have the last game of the weekend between Manchester United and Bournemouth. The game that will be kicking off from 2300 hours, or if you prefer, 2000 hours GMT. That is 8 p.m. 8 p.m. in the UK. While over here in East Africa, the game is gonna be starting at 11 p.m. 11 p.m. at night. Anyway, thank you so much, guys, for being part of this watch along. Honestly, we didn't really expect results to go as they did, because I expected the Sunderland Newcastle game to be way more closer and at least hard fought, but it was just another boring game of football. Clearly, did not live up to the hype. Crystal Palace, of course, will not be able to do the job there against City. They were put to the sword. Anyway, so guys, do make sure that if you come across this stream after it has ended, that you like the video and subscribe to the channel. If it's your first time coming across this channel, this is the Vinsky Vala channel. Make sure you are subscribed as well. And also make sure that you like the video as well, and also support the channel. Anyway, it's been your boy right here, Vinsky Vala. Gonna be back tomorrow. Gonna know whether we're gonna do the game tomorrow, but we're gonna decide whether we're gonna do the game tomorrow. But till then, hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Peace.